Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're going to get into everything that is going on in the markets today with AMC stock and abroad. AMC having quite a good day, up about 3%, outpacing the markets by a pretty good margin here. Now, are we done? Is the selling over with? Are stocks going back to the moon? I think you guys need to hear what we're going to talk about here in this video. So let's get into it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. So like I said, we'll start there. AMC stock is up 3% on the day. Pretty good day. Wow, that helicopter is very close. Pretty good day out there, all things considered, for AMC. Like I said, up about 3%. You've really started to bottom out here. You're forming a pretty strong demand base. You're getting a lot of demand here in this high $7 level. You're not really coming back down to even the levels in which we were at like 2 weeks ago, 2 trading weeks ago, around $7 flat. You're staying at these elevated prices, even though the markets themselves have been coming down as of recently. Now today the S&P is up about 0.5%, but you can see it's been a pretty decent little fall recently. And AMC stock's chart does not look like that because you've already fallen. So it comes to a point where it just makes sense to buy AMC stock, and to sell the stock even lower does not make sense. Keep in mind, if you're shorting a stock, the most you can make is 100%. You could take a stock to zero. That's all you can make. On the upside, not so much the case. So you've kind of gotten to this point where AMC is not $50, it's not $40, it's not $30, it's not $20, it's $7 and some change. It doesn't make sense to sell the stock short at that point, given the risk to reward just does not look optimal to do so. So I do expect AMC to hold a lot more strength relative to the markets, no matter basically what happens out there. Now, again, if we did go through some big downside in the markets and all hell broke loose, and then it's possible AMC stock could make your way back to about $5 per share. But from here until $5 per share, you're going to need to see a lot of pain in the markets to actually get AMC stock down to those levels. So I think it looks unlikely, but if we look at the chart for the S&P, I mean, yesterday you fell under your 100-day moving average. You kind of bounced a little bit here today, but still, you're still under this 100-day moving average. So if you do not close above this today, that is going to be at 434.87, about $1.40 higher than where we are now. That's not going to be great. So I believe if we go ahead and chart this out, the S&P will need to see roughly another gain of about 0.35%. You're going to have to end the day up about 1% to be above this 100-day moving average. If that happens, then the markets might be a lot more stable than a lot of us think. If that does not happen, well, next week could set us up for quite a bit of pain. Now, as we've went over many times, September, the second half, specifically after quad witching, tends to be when you get the most downside in the month. You actually tend to see pretty good returns throughout the first half of September. It's the second half of September that tends to be the rough period. So you're heading into, the first week of that second half of September. The next week of September can be important as well. It could actually help AMC to rally, believe that or not, because a lot of hedge funds and institutions, their calendar years, their fiscal years actually end at the end of September and start new ones in October. So you're going to see a lot of moving of positions in the broader markets as well as with AMC stock. And I think quite logically, AMC has fallen a lot. So if you're a hedge fund or institution with a short position, maybe you have some gains shorting AMC. Maybe you're just, thinking along the same lines as we are, like the risk to reward looks really good. Then you might want to go long on AMC stock heading into your 2024 fiscal year. That's always a possibility, okay? So next week is going to be very important to see what happens with AMC. Now, like I've said before, if you get good or bad news, it's likely to affect AMC stock a lot more than it has in the past. We have gotten basically nothing but good news over the past, couple of months. Really haven't got any fundamental bad news besides the writer's strike, but that isn't affecting things as of right now. But AMC stock just wasn't able to move up on good news because we were faced with the court proceeding for so long. And now it's different. We got the dilution out the way. We have the court proceeding that's over with. We don't really have anything else that is happening. I don't think AMC is going to raise capital at least until AMC share price is back in the 20s. Because, I mean, if you were to raise capital now, that's just pointless to waste, I mean, your share price away for hundreds of millions of dollars. It doesn't make sense to send your stock to a penny stock at that point. So I don't think you have a lot of these risk factors that we have had over the past couple of months, and that could allow AMC stock to move a lot more. Now, keep in mind the average analyst price target, which is $18.78, is a very conservative measure that a lot of these analysts are giving AMC. It's not like they were giving AMC the benefit here. They've always had low price targets on AMC. Well, AMC has now hit those low price targets and has fallen dramatically under them. The return potential just to get back to average analyst price targets would be a gain of about 144%. Now, will that happen? Yes, it will happen, in my opinion. What gets us there? That's, I think, is the bigger question. What gets us a return from here of 144%? Probably some news, probably some good news. Maybe it's earnings. We'll have to see. If AMC does have another profit this earnings season, that is an event that could send AMC stock up much, much more, because each time AMC starts to turn a profit here, the argument of a high valuation becomes a lot less relevant, right? Or a lot more irrelevant, maybe I should say. So keep that in mind. And these analysts, two of them rate AMC a buy, 4 of them rate AMC a hold, and 3 analysts rate AMC a sell. Average consensus view is a hold on AMC stock. So it's not like people are outright bullish on the stock as is. Now, if we look at the short numbers here, you have a short score of 68. $190.11 million worth of short positions currently in AMC stock. Estimated short interest off free float of 12.48%. Free float out on loan at 13.11%. Shares out on loan about 26 million. Days to cover 1.96. Cost to borrow 6.34%, and utilization of 59.46%. You guys got to take in mind, or keep in mind, these numbers have to be taken with a big grain of salt. The last exchange reported short interest number we had was 16.44%. That was when AMC stock was around $13 per share. The stock fell as low as $7 per share. It's more than likely going to see an even higher short interest number. Now, you might ask yourself, how's the short interest actually went down when AMC stock has went from $40, $50 down to $7? And it's simple. The amount of shares sold short has been increasing. Now there's 23.21 million shares sold short. You've never been this short in AMC, but you have seen the overall amount of shares outstanding increase. So your percentage that's actually sold short on that larger overall amount of shares has went down. I think this does not matter nearly as much as some people will tell you. The amount of shares sold short is at by far record highs. This jumped 36% just within the last reported short interest number, from 17 million shares to 23 million shares that are sold short. So some pretty big numbers there. So that is some of the data here on AMC stock. If we take a look at the option chain, go ahead and pull this up. There we are. So for this Friday, if we can get above $8 per share, that's a really good sign heading into next week. You're going to see at the $8 put about 11,000 options that do go out of the money. That would be great news. At the $8 call, you're going to see 13,500 options go into the money. So this could affect AMC stock obviously this week, but there is a T+2 settlement time for options. Technically, they don't have to be fully hedged for by the market makers until 2 days after expiration. So you guys want to keep that in mind, that even if we get a close above $8 and you don't see this huge kind of hedging event over the next 2 trading days or so, you could still see a lot of those hedges actually get placed on AMC stock. So there is that. There's not much news as far as AMC specifically. There's nothing really happening. It's a pretty slow day, honestly, out there in the markets, as well as obviously with AMC. You are getting news that the UAW is targeting 38 facilities at Stellantis and GM for expanded strikes, but they are skipping past Ford. It looks like there's going to be some kind of profit sharing agreement that could come about. All of this, long story short, this is bad for the economy. We're already heading into recession, so you want to watch this situation pretty closely. If it gets worse, well, that's not going to be great. We're already heading into a recession. A recession is already coming. You add on top of this the UAW strike, the spike in oil, student loan repayments that start in October, the debt that is at ridiculous levels, and hopefully you guys are preparing in your own personal finances for a period of weakness out there in the economy. If you have a vulnerable job, maybe it's a time to really start saving, maybe learn a side hustle, a new skill, or something to try and to some degree protect yourself. So that's kind of what I have for you guys on that front. As far as the Treasury yields, 10-year Treasury yields down about 4 basis points today. This is probably what is giving the markets a little bit of a boost today. 2-year Treasuries down about 4 basis points as well. So that is great news. The yield curve inversion is uninverting again today. You're now only inverted 0.63% on the 2 and 10-year yield curve. Now, I point this out because right before a recession, you tend to see yield curves that spike, right? That start to uninvert. Usually when the yield curve inverts, that's not when you're in a recession. That's not when there's pain in the markets. But once you start to uninvert, you pretty quickly are heading into a recession. So you have been uninverting on the 2 and the 10, and the 3 and the 10, the 3-month and the 10-year also is really bad looking. And this one looks even worse for this whole recession argument than the 2 and the 10. And the 3-month and the 10-year is really what you want to watch. And look at this uninversion. It's spectacular here. And same story. Usually you don't get this inversion that's too crazy. That's not when the markets are usually panicking or selling down. It's, right before a recession is usually when you see pain in the markets. And that is precisely when the yield curve inversion does start to uninvert. So you are seeing quite the uninversion right now. If this does kind of go faster, then that's going to look very much like we are imminently heading into a recession. So it does look like right now recession is pretty much a guarantee. I think that's pretty obvious. But some of the data we're actually seeing out there is starting to show this as well. So that is not the best case scenario of what we are currently dealing with. So that's kind of what I have for you guys. Failure to delivers, there is quite a bit. If we go ahead and look up AMC FTDs, we can go ahead and pull this up real quick. So let's see, today is September 22nd. That's about 29.3 million FTDs that do come due over the next couple of days. You're going to get even more, and coincidentally enough, it's the second half of September coming next week. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of FTDs that come due. It's the end of the fiscal calendar for a lot of hedge funds and institutions. You're going to see a lot of positioning. If that positioning is bullish towards AMC, that would make a lot of sense to me, considering AMC stock has fallen a lot, and you could be in for some gains coming next week. So that is going to do it for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.